Hi everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, where Raid have just posted their official info on all of the champions that are coming with this January update. So I believe these should be turned on in the game over the next few days, probably after the weekend, after the summoning events, when the fusion actually goes live on Monday. Also, I just wanted to quickly say shout out. Dylan Plave just left a comment saying today one of my videos is posted in the biggest Russian-speaking community of Raid. So hello to everyone there. I know there's a huge Russian community. I did get a couple of comments already, and a comment from a French viewer as well. They were asking if I could put subtitles for their languages on the videos. So I actually don't know how to do that right now. I will look into it. I'm not sure if there's an easy automated way, and because I'm just working kind of alone by myself, it might not be possible. But it's something I will look into if you're curious. Anyway, let's dive into the champions. Let's take a look. So first of all, we have a new attack, Magic Affinity Legendary for the Orcs faction, Danag Skullreap. Nice helmet. He's covering, he's like, brain, not important. You can smash my brain, but my beautiful jawline, my beard must be protected. His A1, Shatter Confidence. This is completely blind, by the way. I haven't seen any of this info yet already. Attacks one enemy 2 times. If we zoom in, it's too much. Sorry. All right, here we go. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of putting 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. That bucks up to an 80%, a 50% chance with 2 hits, so pretty high chance. Chance increases to 50% or 70% chance when booked if the target's under fear or true fear. I'd say that's a good solid A1. I mean, 2 50% chances of decreased defense is pretty good. His A2, Bane of Elves, attacks all enemies, has a 75%, 100% chance when booked of putting decreased accuracy and true fear. Champions from the High Elf and Dark Elf factions cannot resist these debuffs. This is very good. With a 3-turn cooldown when that's booked, that is very, very good. Arena, right? Guess who we're running up against in arena? Do we run into any high elves or dark elves in the arena? Why, yes we do. Thank you for asking. We certainly do. Obviously Arbiter, probably the most common champion. She is high elf, and there's plenty of dark elves in there as well, like Foley, Lydia. Yeah, and the fact that this cannot be resisted, you can punch through those, high resistance teams again with champions in there like Lydia. The new, whenever people get Mithrala Lifebane, right, the Hydra legendary, when people get her, she's probably going to be in arena as well. He's going to hard counter that. That's pretty damn good. She's Dark Elf Mithrala Lifebane. What are his other abilities? Battle Flow is A3, attacks one enemy, ignores shield buffs, 4-turn cooldown when booked, decreases the cooldown of Battle Flow skill by 2 turns, fills his turn meter by 30%, and places 30% increase crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. And I think it's quite likely to. Yeah, he seems pretty strong to me. This guy seems powerful. He seems very good. He's going to combo well. I think he's going to combo pretty well with someone like Madame Ceres, another Dark Elf, by the way, you see all the time. Madame Ceres can place fears and he can get some A1 value. He'd combo well with another Dark Elf like Lanicus. Any ally attackers, seems like he's going to hit pretty hard. Yeah, ignoring shields, again, will help you kill Duchess, knock through Duchess shields, nuke things down. Nice boost if he kills people, turn meter and crit damage, not too bad. It really depends what his multipliers are, but I think this is a good kit. This is a good solid kit with that targets relevant factions. That's cool. Bane of Elves, yeah. And then Healthy Grudge heals this champion by 50% of their max HP every time he kills an enemy. Also gives an extra turn every time he kills an enemy from the High Elf or Dark Elf factions. Oh, baby. Oh, that's dirty. Okay, yeah. I mean, it really depends on his multipliers, but I think that Danag Skullreap, this guy is probably, if his multipliers are solid, he is probably going to be a very good arena champion. Of course, you do still have to watch out for the fact that you can be running into enemies that can have those, what are they called? The accessories that make you not be crit on your first turn. So it could be hard to knock through, but the nice thing is that by decreasing actually and placing True Fear, he can buy you a turn, right? He can sort of AoE fear them on his first turn, and if this will kill most people, and if they have those reaction accessories, it will fear them instead, and then he can come in and start getting extra turns like blowing up arbiters and stuff. I think he looks really good. He looks very strong. Next up, we have a Void legendary, Jingwan. Shadowkin. He looks like a troll from World of Warcraft. That's what he looks like. Jingwan. Okay. He's Void Legendary. HP based. Doom Exchange. Oh, he's a lot of abilities. Doom Exchange. Attacks one enemy. Transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target. Okay. Compound Calamity is A2. Attacks one enemy. Books down to a 2-turn cooldown. Has a 75% chance, 100% chance when booked, of increasing the duration of 2 random debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Pretty good. 100% chance. Random though. Also puts block active skill debuff for 1 turn if the target's under decreased accuracy or decreased crit damage. So that makes it a bit more relevant for some arena stuff. It has a short cooldown. Pretty good as well for... pretty decent for Doom Tower, actually, too. Okay. Power Flare, then, is A3. Attacks all enemies 2 times. This is a 4-turn cooldown when booked. First hit has 80% chance, 100% chance when booked of putting decreased accuracy for 2 turns. Second hit has a 100% chance of putting decreased crit damage debuff for 2 turns. Also puts Strengthen buff on this champion for 2 turns. Huh. Okay. So he can go in and he'll do decreased accuracy, decreased crit damage, Strengthen on himself. Again, pretty okay for some of those Doom Tower waves. Decrease how hard they're going to hit you and their chance to debuff. That's not terrible. For Arena as well, could be okay. Help you survive through some stuff. Okay. Unchained is passive. Immune to Fear, True Fear, Freeze, Provoke, Sleep, Stun, Petrification. That's nice. Cooldown. Could book down to 4 turns here. Whenever he gets one of these, it's put on an ally, removes it and puts block debuffs buff on that ally for 2 turns. Ooh, so that's a passive that procs. That's not too terrible, actually. That is not bad. So we go into an arena fight and we get AoE stunned. He's immune to it himself, and then he frees one ally. One ally. I guess it'd be your leader, so you put him in with Arbiter and he'd free Arbiter and give her block debuffs. That's not bad. That's not terrible. She turn meter boosts you. Then he decreases accuracy, decreases crit damage. He could be decent. Increase ally HP in all battles. So yeah, an interesting kit for sure. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily jump out to me as absolutely crazy or insane. I don't know. What do you guys think? Void Legendary, HP based. We don't know what his multipliers are. He might actually hit really hard. He has an AoE attack. He's going to be attacking every single turn. He might do some good damage and bring some nice debuffs. Yeah, might see. He's sort of, it's up in the air for me. We'll see how he works. Now here we have a crucial thing with Operdin. Mr. Clanfather here, he is the fusion. He's a cool portrait, actually. Okay, he really would have, imagine how much cooler this champion would be. Instead of being a barbarian, imagine if he had like big fucking claws and he was a skinwalker. How much cooler would that be? And they need it. They need it. God damn it, Raid. He would have been a perfect skinwalker. Anyway, rant over. He's a barbarian. So his A1 only gets up to another bit here. Another 15%, so 65% chance per hit to decrease. So it's pretty crap A1. His A2 does go down to 3-turn cooldown. That's good. Gets 10% more healing, 10% more damage. Okay, it's a solid enough A2. Then Clan Mentor. Yeah, okay, so it goes down to a 3-turn cooldown. So yeah, I actually think he's pretty solid, right? So it removes all block buffs, all heal reduction, 100% chance when booked to remove another random debuff, and then puts 2 continuous heal buffs for 2 turns on everyone on a 3-turn cooldown. Then he comes in. After that, does Rally the Tribe, does 1 little shitty paired hammers, then back to Clan Mentor. I think he's pretty solid. Like, I actually think he's much better than people give him credit for. People are hating on him a lot. Wow, another legendary. Is that it? No, we got epics as well. Oh my goodness. Hull's Ring, legendary, magic affinity for the Sacred Order. He looks super creepy with his mouth stitched closed. Okay. I love how the Sacred Order, they have some of their really edgy stuff, like Mordecai, who's like burned. He looks quite like Mordecai actually with his hood, and he's horribly burned. Or like Sanguina, who's like this sort of creepy red Inquisitor, or like Inquisitor Shamael. And then you've got like just really nice people, like, you know, just like Phoenix. He's just chilling. He's just hanging. It's like, yo, people say I look like Phoenix, by the way. He's like, yo, I'm cool. How are you? I'm just a nice guy. I should probably be in Bannerlords. Sacred Order is a bit crazy. Rampant Blows. Attack 2 times at random. Puts 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack is critical. I wonder if it gives you the increased attack before the second hit. Or if he needs to hit twice and then it buffs him. Because that would make it better. 30% damage from books on that. Could hit pretty hard. Overthrow. Attacks 3 times at random. Ignores 25% of defense against targets under Hex. Ignores a further 25% of defense against targets under Hex from Bannerlord or Knight Revenant. Gosh, that's a wacky one, isn't it? That is a weird one. This has a 3-turn cooldown and books for 20% more damage. So a bunch of random hits. He needs Hex. That's the Hex. Witchfinder attacks 4 times random on a 4-turn cooldown when booked. Each hit has a 75% chance, 100% chance when booked of placing Hex for 3 turns. Champions from Bannerlord's Knight Revenant factions cannot resist this debuff. Okay. Each hit also has a 100% chance when booked of stealing 25% of the target's turn meter. Steals 50% of the turn meter instead if they're from Bannerlord or Knight Revenant. If his turn meter's at 75% or more after the steal, puts Perfect Veil on him for 2 turns. And then his passive. If he attacks 2 targets under Hex during the same turn, puts Perfect Veil on him for 1 turn, will not count counter attacks. Increase crit damage by 30% when attacking under Perfect Veil. He could actually, okay, he has a lot of attacks at random, but depending on his multipliers, he could smack, right? So let's say in Arena, turn 1, he goes in, attacks 4 times at random. If he has enough accuracy, he could steal up to like 100% turn meter. He could probably steal enough turn meter, certainly if they have Bannerlords or Knight Revenants in there, to just straight up go again with the Perfect Veil and 30% more crit damage. Then he'd attack 3 times at random. And if he hits someone that had Hex applied here, he'd ignore a chunk of their defense. It's interesting. I've got my game running. Okay, good. I just did my brutal run. Like, hang on. So, like, Bannerlords, Knight Revenant. For PvP, Bannerlord's not super relevant, to be honest. Like, maybe Raglan, but she's not even top tier. Or, like, Manaya sometimes. Helior's not bad, but, yeah, like, Sathalia good, but not super common. And again, in the epics, I'd say not super common for endgame. What was the other one? Knight Revenant? Solus? Solus is top tier. But that's kind of it. In terms of the epics, like for PvP, okay, I guess you see some Skullcrown when you're lower down. Rector Drath sometimes, but like these aren't big factions. Compared to High Elves earlier, High Elves are coming in. Lysandra, Yannicka, Pixneal, no. Arbiter's in there. You know, like High Elves are in there. And what was the other one for the other dude? It was Sacred Order. Like Sacred Order, Roshkard sometimes. Sir Nick is in there. Cupid, Cardial's in there. Abbess sometimes. You know, that's a bit more relevant. Astralon is a bit more relevant. That's a weird one. I don't know. Okay, yeah, this guy though. So the specific factions are weird, but he does seem like he could be pretty good though. The random hits. You know what? I know people are going to hate this because it's random. I kind of like it just because it's a multi-hitting nuker that's a little bit different. And also, you know, he could be good for Hydra. Multi-hitting on Hydra, he could do a lot of damage and applying Hex. Increases his own attack. That's quite nice. So you don't need to bring an increased attack champion. And he veils himself as well. Sometimes. If he attacks 2 targets under Hex, he veils himself. So that would help him deal with the Fearhead. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, next up we have Konnochi. Force, defense. Epic for the Shadowkin. Sever Muscle. Attacks 1 enemy. 30% chance of putting Weaken for 2 turns. Books up to 40%. Alright, Weaken's rare, so that's okay. Poison Piercing. Attacks all enemies. Has a, when booked, 100% chance of putting Leech for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Not bad to try to sort of heal through. I feel like Shadowkin are probably going to be a very aggressive faction. I don't think they have any real revivers and very few healers, so that could actually be quite good. Interpose puts ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Fills their turn meter by 50%. That's on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. Okay. And then Blooded Grit puts block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn whenever their HP drops below 50% with a 5-turn cooldown. I think Konnochi is actually going to be a solid addition for Faction Wars. Would I use Konnochi anywhere else? Probably not. Probably not really. Probably not really. They could be good if you build them with tanky and with high resistance. They might do good damage too as a defense base. Yeah, I think definitely for Faction Wars, they're probably going to do decent AoE, help your team stay alive with Leech, protect you with ally protection. They're going to be great. They're going to get you through bosses again with Leech, Weaken, ally protection. I think Konnochi seems very solid. Old Gruckus from the Ogren tribes. Force, support, an epic champion. Oh, we got even more. God, there's so many. What the hell? Beating Staff attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of putting Leech. Goes to 20% chance of Leech, so decent. Toe the Line attacks one enemy. 60% chance of putting decreased speed for 2 turns. Also has a 40% chance of decreasing their turn meter by 30%. He gets an extra 40% with Book, so it would be 100% chance of decreased speed and 80% chance of decreased turn meter. So far, I'd say, good for bosses, decreasing their speed and turn meter and putting Leech. Harsh Discipline's up next. AoE attack attacks all enemies. 100% chance when booked of putting decrease attack and heal reduction for 2 turns with a 3-turn cooldown. And he gives ally speed in dungeons. I think old Gruckus actually seems pretty decent, right? Pretty okay. So he applies Leech, single target decrease speed, AoE decrease attack. Not terrible, right? Not terrible. He's really going to help you with bosses with the decreased speed and the Leech. Decrease attack is great for dungeon progression, heal reduction. Yeah, I think he's solid enough. He's not blowing my mind, but he seems pretty good. Be good for faction wars as well, helping you stay alive against the boss. Lady Quillin up next. Looks cool. Bannerlords attack, force affinity. Mistress of Mallets attacks one enemy, fills the champion's turn meter by 15% if the attack is critical, a solid A1. Glory Hound attacks one enemy, puts an extra hit if this attack is critical, okay. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 30% if this attack kills an enemy. That has a 3-turn cooldown. That's pretty good. So you kind of build her with a 100% crit, of course. She's going to hit hard, and if she kills, she boosts you up. That's actually really good. Then what's her final thing here? First to fight, 4-turn cooldown when booked, let's say ascended, attacks all enemies, puts increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns, also puts increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns if this attack is critical. Okay, that's a bit more weird. It would be great if she did these things before she attacked. First to fight. Yeah, I mean, it fits with the name of it. This makes her a little less useful. I was thinking she could be really good for Arena. I mean, so it is an AoE attack that will boost your crit damage. It depends how hard it hits. She could be a good Arena nuker, right? She goes in, she nukes them, boosts crit damage, and also gives you more increased attack. So certainly if you're early game, you don't have Arbiter. If you go in and you have, I mean, let's say you have Haikatoon in the lead, Haikatoon speed boosts you, then she comes in, someone decreases defense, like War Maiden decreased defense. She comes in, she nukes, boosts your crit damage, gives increased attack to everyone. Then she comes back around second time, she finishes someone off and boosts your turn meter. Pretty decent. Probably good for faction wars. Depends what her multipliers are. Interesting damage dealer. Again, it's a pity that these buffs are going to come in after she nukes. So, yeah, first to fight. Like, she can't really be your primary buffer or damage dealer. I don't know. Interesting. Then we have Arndolph. Ooh, he looks fun. Magic affinity, defense type for the Bannerlord faction. Iron Great Club attacks one enemy, 20% chance to provoke, 30% chance to provoke. It's alright, not great. Daunting Violence is next, attacks all enemies, 75%, 100% chance when booked of putting Weaken, AoE. Also has a 25%, that's 50% chance when booked, of putting Fear debuff for 1 turn. That's not bad. So an AoE attack, which is guaranteed to weaken, and 50-50 to Fear. That's a solid ability for faction wars, certainly, and for dungeon progression, not bad. Wall of Metal puts 30% reflect damage on all allies for 2 turns. Also places counter attack on himself. Doesn't seem super useful. 3-turn cooldown. Reflect damage is not very good. Counter attack on himself. I mean, this is okay for Fire Knight progression, but he doesn't jump out off the pages to me as being super useful. And there you go. That's it. So we've got an interesting bevy of champions. So to give you my quick thoughts again, I think Danag Skullreap looks really good, especially for PvP. As an arena nuker, he looks like a bit of a monster. Jingwan is definitely a question mark for me. It depends how hard he's going to hit, what his stats are. But he's an interesting suite of stuff that, yeah, I'm just not 100% sure exactly where he's going to be useful. Operdin, I think, is pretty much as expected, and I think he's solid, better than people expect. I like Halsring as something a bit different with all these multi-attacks at random, applying Hex, hitting hard, veiling himself. I think it's actually kind of fun and a bit different, though I'm sure a lot of people will hate them. Konnochi looks actually very good, I think, for faction wars, for Shadowkin, and just generally solid, protecting your team, kind of like Sandlash Survivor with ally protection and block damage. AoE Leech, Weaken, I think that's actually really nice. Old Gruckus seems like an average enough. Support seems okay. Lady Quillin, intriguing damage dealer. Again, depends how hard she hits. and if this actually works usefully in a team or not. And then Arndolph seems kind of underwhelming to me. There you go. They're my thoughts. What do you think of these champions? Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.